Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in and check out your boy, P Funk, thinking right out here in my lab where I do what I do for you. I'm about to wrap the book up, y'all. We about done with this thing. I got one last lesson. This is gonna be a doozy. Might be a minute, but I want to get it all in. So let's get the party started. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune into receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission, and I'm on it, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline, practice daily, will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get it together. So I ask the question, do you know you? You will when I'm through. That's what I do. It's rhetorical, but if you know how to answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not, simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. I appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know spiritually asleep. How can awaken them? I'm your spiritual alarm clock, here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself, and to my eye, be true. I'm about to wrap this thing up. The right thinkers, let's talk about all this whole book. It comes out to the realization of wisdom. When you realize you have it. Okay? In the whole book, at this point, this is where you should be. If you've been paying attention and putting the work in, this should fall right in line. Let's start with wrapping up the last lesson I gave you. It was about the cry of I said, but I didn't finish it all, so I'm going to wrap it up with this one. So as a human being evolves, and that's what we're supposed to do, change, they grow from being what? A gross, ignorant personality, living at the level of beastly nature, your lower self, your egoism, your Satanian qualities that you display, and to develop your mental capacity. The mental capacity develops into what? Intellect. Learning. And the intellect will blossom into, you ready for this? This is what I said represents intuition. Intuition opens the door of your spiritual realization, of your spiritual self, the real true source of all true knowledge. Self-knowledge is that. In fact, it is the absolute truth. Complete, infinite, and eternal. While that which is, watch this is the difference. I gave that lesson also about intellect and knowledge. It is that which is known with what? Your mind and your senses is transient and incomplete. Why? Because it's yours. The absolute truth, the self-knowledge, is what allows a person to what? Go beyond your ego. And it never-ending desires to what? To relative knowledge of your mind and the senses. That leads a person to what? Limitations. You're limited. If your ego is in control, you're human. That's your egoism. And it is not understood it is not understood to be only a means of what? Higher discovery. Scientists are, in reality, trying to discover what? God through science. However, if they see science as the end all of knowledge, and they will not discover God. Why? They will just get limitations. They will know limitations. They will know how far to go. That ain't God. That's why. And their science will never be perfect. Why? Because it will always be limited to their egoistic concepts. They don't open up and get to God. So initial intuitional knowledge is the fulfillment of all what? Intellectual pursuits. So therefore it is the what? Self-knowledge, and through the process which brings true peace and happiness and what we call enlightenment to all human beings who practice this philosophy. Okay, now this leads you right into the segue, perfect segue. We go into the realization of wisdom. If you can get God's attention, if you're that focused on doing that, you have reached this level of realization of the wisdom. Why? Because the practice of wisdom yoga, whole purpose is to lead to what? Your intuitional knowledge. Open up your intuitional concepts. Intuitional knowledge means what? That through the daily practices of purification of what? Your mind first. By listening to the lessons, reflecting on the teachings, and meditating upon all the teachings, a spiritual aspirant, aka right thinker, which you are, you have gone beyond the realm of what? Mental thoughts and concepts. We head into my area now, telepathy. Well, I can't get that word right for the lady of my life. Thoughts and concepts, and has realized what? The ultimate truth of what? The teachings within you, him or herself. It is what? You ready? To be experienced. That goes beyond rationalization. If you experience, you can't rationalize it out to no, it is what it is. That's what the whole idea of wisdom, obtaining it, is what? Experiencing something for yourself. So therefore, it is not just the knowledge that comes from the information or the books. No, you gotta go past that. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. It is a knowing. You ready? How you know this? By experience. We call it gnosis. Okay? You know by experiencing, as opposed, watch this, to what? Thinking it or logic. The aspirant, what? Has now discovered, you ready for this? God by what? Intuition. It's an intuitive thing. You and God become one. The heart and mind start them up together. That's intuition, okay? And your mind is so subtle, so open, that it can now peer through what? The illusions of the illusionary world that we live in. You see it for what it is. And the ego, which is the veil of our set. Once you raise that ego veil, you can see the world for what it really is. That's open up the third eye. The universe is the goddess, and the human heart is the goddess also, symbolically. Again, up here, down here. As above, so below. There is no difference. Metaphorically. And watch this. This is the knowledge that cannot be known by mere mortals, meaning the ignorant, the profane. They don't have this knowledge. Okay, that's what makes them who they are, ignorant, mortals. But by one who has what? Learned, put the work in, and has transcended their what? Individuality. What you mean? Get past the ego self. Now you ain't just thinking of your individual self. And through the proper training and understanding, and has what? Realized for themselves that there is no individual. That's raising your conscious level to the next level of getting out the ego mindset of I, me. There is only who? Goddess in the form of human beings. God in the flesh. Plants, stars, as well as what? Even intelligence, love, all these emotions, righteousness, and truth. This is the highest goal of wisdom. Living right, being virtuous, integrity. All those are qualities that you could implement. That's what God recognizes. He sees other stuff. That's why he don't pay attention to that. You're not rewarded for that. When you can get wisdom, and wisdom is to go what? Beyond wisdom itself, and to what? Know God for yourself. How? By becoming one with God. trying to contain myself because I'm freaking out. If this don't make sense to you, if you done got through all this and this ain't making sense to you, you done wasted all your time. Okay? Why? God was always where? I tell you, in the heart. The idea, the mind got to figure that part out. It become one with him. That's what we come here to do as human beings. Become spiritual and go back home when the physical body wears out. This process of spiritual practice, I call it spiritual discipline, does not bring God to what? To an aspirant. Rather, no, it don't do that. What? It allows the aspirant, him or her, to what? Discover and come to God, who was always what? There. I told you, I got mine in the prison cell. When all the girls is gone, all the money's gone, everything gone. God, oh God. So I know that oh so well. Trust me. When you change that philosophy, you'll be better for it. Thus, watch this. A wisdom yogi, which I am now after 10 years of practice, is never, watch this, disturbed by the world. What's going on in the world don't really affect me to a degree at a certain point. That's why. I'm not up in the monastery. I'm not up in the Charlotte and Tibet monk, Tibet nonsense. No, I'm living like everybody else in the day-to-day routine. I just do what I do. No matter how involved in the action of whatever going on around you, he or she may seem to what? Be there. Their mind is always immersed in what? In right thinking or the thought of what? The divine, I'm God conscious. That's right thinking. And therefore, the objects, the situations, no worries, etc. of what? Life having no effect on them. It don't move the needle, so to speak. You get immune to stuff that don't mean nothing to you. That's all they're saying. And most people, it's hard for them. Most people live life what? According to their egoistic, ignorant understanding of the world. They gotta be involved. They gotta do something. Okay, have at it. And they believe, they go, when you don't know something and you relying on your belief, get information. Why? So you can know. Believing and then doing something that, no, I can't operate like that. Okay? I'm not computer literate. When I get to a point where I can't figure it out, I go get help. I don't care. Kids, don't make a difference. I can't do this. I need help. Okay? That's with machines. I'm fine with me. But again, not understanding what your limits are and what you're doing. And when you reach that limit, you go get help. Moving on, just to me, that's common sense. I don't think that's so something spectacular that they gonna come up with. Where we at? Okay, and they again, if you live in unbelief, that means you're ignorant. That means you don't know. So don't get it twisted. They believe that the world is what? In reality, and that they must struggle in the world in order to what? To achieve any happiness. Chasing that proverbial carrot again, due to what? Ignorance. And all of us done it. I did it. No shame, but the idea is to figure it out and wake up. My thing is to get younger people to realize before they get down the road to realize, oh yeah, you could have done this a long time ago. Yep. Okay. So thus, watch this. They are constantly what? Wrong thinking of what? The past with either a feeling or a longing to return to some time that they thought or was joyous or was regret over something that they thought was negative. That's behind you. You spend time worrying about something that you can't do nothing about. That's wrong thinking. Again, also, watch this. They also think about what? The future. Now you're playing the dream game. Now you're playing the imaginary game. You're going where, watch this. They think about the future with what? With longing. You get caught up in to gain something that they desire or with expectations that they will achieve. Some state of happiness and some artists when something that they consider to be good may happen. That's planning, okay, but don't put all the stock in that. It ain't real. A sage. What do you say? A sage. Say it again. A sage who has practiced, you don't just get to be one, no, who have practiced the yoga of wisdom and mastered it, will what? Does not care for the past or the future. Don't care. I wasn't always that way. You have to learn that. That's what I'm saying. So all the stuff that we talk about, if you're not experiencing it, you're not practicing, you don't have a clue. But watch this. But for the person who do, watch this. I have no use for the past, and since these are what understood to be just illusions of the mind, like a passing dream, a thought. Every thought ain't got to be acted on. Every thought ain't got to be felt. Every thought ain't got to be emotional. No, let it go. Only eternity is real, and God is eternal. So once you make the connection with God, you realize that just as what? The reality behind a dream is the dreamer himself. And through the enlightened mind, a sage can now experience what? Eternity at any moment. What do I? Nope. I can go to that place in my mind where I'm where I need to be. That's the meditative state that you reach as a yogi. Self-mastery. Again, anytime. And with a simple thought, just check. I control what I think. Do you? That's the problem. If you're not controlling your thoughts, you're not controlling your emotions, woo, Jed Clampett, wee doggy, you're going to have some issues. But thus, a sage who has those controls wakes up from what? The illusions of the dream of the world and of what? The concept of individuality, the ego self, I, me. A sage does not regret anything or long for any future developments. Why? Because he or she has what? Has attained for themselves all that there is to be attained. That's the divine communion with your higher inner self. I would like to drop the pen right now, but we just getting started. Why? This is the whole point of what we've been reading to get to here. This should be the point where everything starts to click, everything starts to make sense to you. Let's go. If you be sagehood who practice yogism, a sage does not, listen again, these are things that a sage does or don't do. A sage does not covet objects, things, people, person, nothing. I came here with nothing, and I'm gonna leave here with nothing. But with knowledge of self, I won't be coming back. That's the key. That's all mental, okay? And watch this. He don't covet objects, he or she. And since a sage experiences what? Oneness with the divine. That's what made you a sage. You experienced oneness for yourself, and once you practiced and got better at it, now you what? Teach others. With the divine, you have discovered the oneness and had experience. Not you experienced. That's the mystical experience with divine. Who what? Who encompasses all objects. The objects of the world are understood and experienced as what? As part of one's own self. That's God. The circle of life, everything in there is God. How can one desire, what's this? What one has already. Through ignorance. You desire stuff that you think you don't have because you're ignorant of who you are. Bam. I love it. Here you go. When you have divine communion with your inner self, your higher self, what's this? The path of wisdom means you have eradicated the low-level ideas of what? Your ego self. There you go. Now, and this also implies the destruction of what? Your lower nature. Destroyed it. He got no say-so. He's done. And it's demonic qualities. There you go. Those negative aspects of your character, you're done with them. Okay? They include anger, hatred, greed, lust, covetousness, hypocrisy, jealousy. I can go on, but you stop at all of them, etc. You cutting all those things out of your character. Ooh, how light you feel. You just lightened your heart with a whole bunch of nonsense, symbolically, metaphorically. But all of this is possible. Why? Because the underlying ignorance of your mind has been what? Eliminated. The ignorance is gone. Now you have what? Pure consciousness, knowledge. And the path of wisdom bestows a formidable mental power which can manifest as a towering intellect. You seem to know everything. Sound familiar? No, just everything about you and everything that you present. That's all. I don't talk about what I don't know. Don't have no need for that. So yeah, knowing what you talk about, knowing everything. Knowing thyself, knowing everything. Communion with God, becoming one with God, again, knowing everything. Metaphorically, symbolically. Okay. But this implies what? The ability to now expand in the what? The power of your memory, your intuition, and your total understanding of what? The fabric of creation itself, as well as a human being in nature, living in accordance with it, not trying to conquer it like a lot of people try. Also, not wrapping it up, also a sage can exert what? Control over the power of what? Their speech, makaru. Their speech, so as to never utter evil or unkind words, and to have the power to speak the truth in an artistic manner which people can understand and even assimilate. That's teaching. I'll never forget my mother saw my first show 7, 8 years ago. Okay, it's been a while now, but I'll never forget. An hour-long show. I'm just bang, bang. I'm running. She said, well, baby, you didn't curse. Knowing her and knowing that guy, it was amazing to her that words didn't come out my mouth. What they just said there, I got control over them now. They're there. I just don't use them. That's how you change. And watch this. A sage, again, of wisdom can exert immense control, what? Over their emotions. I've gotten a lot better at that. Moving on. Okay, why? I experienced them for myself. And this means what? This means that the power to control one's manner in which the personality manifests in the world, people can see how I conduct myself, how I carry myself. That's on display. Okay? Other way was too. You can't hide it. Okay. But now through remaining internally at what? Rest and detached from what? The world, object, people, place, and things from people at all times. People think you're crazy, or he's aloof, or you're whatever, but that's what you do for yourself. Never mind what they think and feel about that, okay? Now, at any moment, the sage can what? Display compassion, sympathy, anger. Yeah, I can get angry with the best of them. Or peacefulness, as the situations of life require, in order to what? Help and to encourage or to teach others on their spiritual path. If I didn't perform, do right thinking, act righteous, and do the things I claim that you need to be doing, it won't work. Why? If I ain't do it, how am I going to tell you to do it? The authenticity in what I do is how I do it. That's my point. Also, again, a sage is what? Free from grief. Oh, no, I got control over the emotion. A lost person, okay, they're gone. Bye, moving on. And since there is no more death or loss of any kind to worry about, with knowledge and understanding, we don't die, we just multiply on to another dimension. And if we didn't get knowledge of self, we can come back here again. That's all simple. A sage, again, of wisdom, I love this, is not subject to what? Pettiness. I used to be vengeful. If you did something to me, I still tell you, if you mistreat me and I get a chance I'm going to exact it on you. Why? If what you do to somebody else you don't want done to you, that's shame on you. Why? Because that's what needs to be done. That's karma. Okay, you get what you deserve. And if it be petty, I'll be petty with the best of them. Again, I'll get down. Or, what's this? To the opposites of human vanity or selfishness. Again, let's go to this. A sage of wisdom is not subject to pettiness or to the opposites of human vanity or selfishness. Those are the qualities that I detest, so I will not display them. Okay? Knowing better. A sage's happiness is not predicated or dependent upon objects of the world or situation in the world, meaning people, places, or things. So therefore, he or she is not what? In competition with anyone or discontent with any situation in their lives. When you reach that level, you're living. You're content with what and who you are, comfortable in your skin, so to speak. And your ego in the ego in human beings always, listen to this, will desire something. It ain't never satisfied. Either to acquire something or to make it happen or to get rid of something because it is seen as what? A source of pain. Since the sage has gone beyond that ego concept, he or she now is not affected by what? Their desires. I'm not ran by my lower nature for things that make what? The ego happy, right there. Satisfying yourself might mean it doing something that you know is wrong. Not doing that. That's the difference. I used to not care. I'm going to do me. My motto was sworn to fun, okay, and loyal to none. I'm just saying. Okay, but when you make your ego, okay, anything, I'm past that making my ego happy, okay, satisfy myself. And to get away from things that make it what's sad. You judge everything by how it makes you feel. Get past that. Those who lead an egoistic, there you go, your egoistic life are always swinging from happiness to sadness, elation, depression. That's this, the serpent. That's the ego serpent. Apophis, that's who you really are when you're doing that. Least set, no one thing, I, me, he gonna do that. But a sage of wisdom has discovered what? The internal anchor, which provides internal equilibrium, maya, inner peace and harmony that allows them to see what? All developments in the world with what? Equal vision. It's all the same. Thus, a sage is not happy if there is $1 million in the bank. Now, this one I got a little personal issue with. I'll be a lot happier sage with $1 million in the bank than I am with a couple of but I get it. And that's the true test. Because, man, listen, I'll be a lot more sager with a bunch of money. All right, let me get out of there. I'll get the clock. I can get that. But this is the end of the books. I'm having fun right now. I'm wrapping it up for you too also. A sage cannot be swayed from the path of what? Righteousness and truth due to what? Personal desires. I have none. They're gone. I took care of them. Eradicated them. Got rid of them. Oh, you got no. I just told you. If I make a statement, please don't try to call me. I make the statement for a reason. Okay, many people can follow truth. Yeah. Okay, watch this. Until what? Until they are put into a situation where what? Wherein they have a choice to do something unrighteous in order to what? Get something that they really want. Right there. You're going to rationalize it out. I rationalize drug dealing in my mind. Well, I'm all in service. Anything to get you to do something wrong. Okay, I'm past that for you. Ego. That's what ego does. And watch this, that they really want to do. And that's the test. That's the true test. Many times they will, what? I just tell you, rationalize their desires and what? Suppress what? The conscious, the right thing. The angel and the devil, that's the time they come out. And most of us, what? Pluck the angel out. Where? Because they're going to side with the devil. And in order to be free to do what they want, they're going to do it. They're going to have it. But what they don't understand is what the angel tried to tell them, you're going to have to pay the consequences for that. They don't want to hear that at that time. So now they did it. Now what? They got to deal with the consequences. Hello, karma. Yeah, I'm here. A sage is not susceptible to that, to this form of delusions. That's what they are. Straying from the path of what's right, even in the slightest degree, leads you to what? Worldly entanglements, bad decisions. Again, Jada Pinkett, I had entanglement. No, you made a bad decision. Live with it. Again, pluck the angel off and did what you wanted to do. Now you got to be responsible for it. So now you make up a bunch of different words, entanglements and whatever. Moving on. And you worry over one's actions. Once you commit that action, Don't worry. Don't even worry about that. Why? You're gonna get what you deserve, and their consequences will follow. Every action has a reaction, equal and opposite to it. Okay? When there is righteousness, honesty, and truth, there is no need to worry. I'm as transparent as I've ever been in my life. Well, I got nothing to hide no more. I ain't doing them things I do in the dark to be brought to light. I keep everything in the light. That's why. Wrapping it up, this taking a little long. I got wrapped up. This is it. Last time. Most people have their feet on the earth with earthly concerns, but egoistic pursuits. Okay, they want to satisfy themselves. And their view of the sky expansion and consciousness is obstructed. How? By the clouds of what? Delusions and ignorance of self. Their mind is constantly agitated by the clouds of desires, thoughts, negative thoughts, and imaginations of glory and days or whatever they want to do as passing clouds, and they seem to create what? Different developments in the sky, but they do not affect the actual sky. So to the mind of a sage, of wisdom, enlightened person, is unaffected like the vast sky with its deep, dark, infinite essence. The sage does not imagine. He or she knows. We don't believe. All that is to be known, and it abides where? In that knowing of what? All times. You know yourself now, tomorrow. Now, once you know yourself, you can't unknow yourself. Once you see something, you can't unsee it. That's the concept. I'm taking it home right here. The I am, one with God. Watch this. Hear me? Moses was told to God, name what I am. But watch this. We got before that. This, the I am one with God, is transcended now instead of I am one with God. You ready for this? The understanding that you will gain from experience and reaching that level is that I am God. Not egotistically, but metaphorically, mentally, and understanding I am God. Why? And I am all that is. All proceeds from me. And I am what? The innermost reality of creation itself. I abide in the hearts of all human beings, and I am the source of all that exists, of the past, present, and future. Sounds familiar? Y'all taking and whatever, but this is the words speaking from our ancient ancestors, wrapping it up. And this is the lofty goal for all right thinkers who practice right thinking philosophy or master yoga of wisdom, which has been handed down from time of immemorial, from who? The divine to the sages and saints of all countries. It is the highest achievement of life, and the object of real attainment in life is to what? Know thyself. That's the lesson. Oh, wait a minute, another page. This is what it looks like. Last page of the book. Started out this way, ended up with this. And it says, in captions, seeketh thou God, thou seeketh for the beautiful. One is the path that leadeth unto it devotion, joined with intuitional knowledge. Ancient Egyptian proverb. And it says here, may you discover the oneness of creation and the non-dual essence of the innermost self where within yourself. Know that, and you know thyself. That's the lesson. That's the book. Hope you enjoyed it, right thinkers. Oh, don't worry about it. I got more. I'll be right back. And in closing, may you all right thinkers live to be 100, maybe 100 minus a day. So I never know that you guys have passed away. I'll be back. I ain't went nowhere either.